This prophecy is as old as Krishna, around 3000 BC. Sound like 2026? Could this be the original source of spirituality? The Vedas make the Gospels and Old Testament look like green eggs and ham, as many Christians think they understand. But they fail to realise the dark hats in Rome changed most of the scriptures or removed them completely. Anyhow, let's get into the Kalki avatar prophecy from the Vishnu Purana. There will be rulers reigning over the earth who will think of themselves as modern and superior. They shall rule through leaders of nations, and these leaders shall be men of vulgar, corrupt disposition, having a violent temper and ever addicted to falsehood and evil. They will inflict death on women, children, and animals through their wars and plagues. They will seize upon the property of their subjects. They will be, however, of limited and temporary power only, as they will, for the most part, rapidly rise and fall in meteoric short careers. The lives of these leaders will be short. They will be physically and mentally ill from their insatiable desires and habits, and they will display but little of spiritual conscience. The peoples of various countries, influenced by propaganda of their leaders, will follow the example of their leaders, and the barbarians of materialism in America and Europe will be powerful in their patronage of the leaders of the less materially advanced countries. The more pure-minded and spiritual tribes and social groupings of their peoples shall be neglected and exploited, so that those peoples shall be enslaved, suffer and perish in great numbers. In all nations, wealth and spirituality will decrease day by day until the entire world will be corrupt, crooked and depraved. Then property alone will confer rank or high reputation. Money will be the only object of devotion and dedication in people. The vicissitudes of physical sexual desire will be the only and fleeting bond of union between the sexes. Women will be regarded as nothing but objects of sexual gratification, and falsehood will be the only means of success in litigation. The natural earth will be venerated only for its mineral treasures, such as oil. Nothing but the Brahmanical thread in India will be said to make a person a Brahmin. External clothing will be the only distinction of the level of evolution of human beings. Dishonesty, instead of genuine, productive work, will become the short-lived means of subsistence for people everywhere. Weakness and irresponsibility will cause more and more people to depend on charity and the state wherever they can. Political menace, conformity, and intellectual presumption will be substituted for education. Immorality and personal corruption will be the new false religion. Mere external bathing and showering will be the substitute for internal purification. Easily breakable mutual assent will be the only marriage vow of parents for rearing children, and divorce with broken homes will ever increase. Fine clothes and bodily physique will be the only human dignity, and only water in faraway holy places will be sacred, for the local water will be increasingly polluted. Amidst all the natural castes, or levels of human evolution, the strongest in wealth and brute force shall rule over all principalities, and everything will be done in a faulty way. The common people, unable to bear the heavy taxation and other burdens of their greedy and oppressive governors and leaders, shall take refuge in the remote countryside. More and more people will try to avoid polluted food, preferring to live on wild honey, herbs, roots and flowers, as well as the hunting of wild animals, fish and birds. But their poverty will increase as they are exposed to increasing extremes of freezing cold or hot droughts and fires from chaotic wind, sun and rain. All this will become so severe that in most regions, the average lifespan of life will be only 23 years from all the deaths taking place from various conditions. Thus, during the Kali Yuga climax period, just before the solar system enters the ascending Dwapara Yuga, the general degeneration and destruction will accelerate to the point that the entire human race on Earth will be near annihilation. When the spiritual traditions of the past are no longer practiced, and the institutions of law and justice have become falsified and dysfunctional, the final closure of the Kali Yuga shall be imminent. At that time, a self of the divine being who exists in his own innate spiritual nature, in oneness with Brahman, and who shall be both the beginning and the end of all spiritual ways, and who comprehends all the spiritual ways and philosophies and sciences, shall descend upon the earth. He will be a true Brahman by inner nature from Shambhala. He will be known as Kalki, chalky, Caucasian, endowed with all 8 superhuman faculties, siddhis. By an irresistible cosmic force, he will destroy the barbarian rulers and leaders who are nothing but conniving thieves whose minds are devoted to evil. He, Kalki, will then re-establish righteous harmony upon the earth, and the minds of those who survive the end of the Kali age shall be awakened into higher unprejudiced awareness and be clear as crystal. Those men and women of that peculiar time of transition shall be as seeds of the emergent human race that shall ascend and evolve through the Dwapara and Treta ages into a new Krita golden age. Other info I found interesting is 5,000 years ago, an empowered prophet known as Srila Vyasadeva repeated these prophecies that were originally imparted by God to an empowered administrative representative of God known as Ganesha, who in turn transcribed them to include in the scriptures referred to as the Vedas, which Srila Vyasadeva had also been engaged by God in compiling into 4 sections known as the Yajur Veda, the Rig Veda, the Soma Veda, and the Atharva Veda. The Kalki Purana is one of the 18 Puranas. These Vedic scriptures are supplemental explanations of the above mentioned 4 sections of the Vedas and are an integral part of the Vedas. The Vedas, also known as the Vedic scriptures, consist of thousands of books, and they were put into writing 5,000 years ago. They say the word Veda means knowledge, and all types of real knowledge came from God and was recorded in the Vedic scriptures. Furthermore, there is ample and extensive scientific evidence available substantiating the fact that rather than progressing, human society has actually been digressing considerably, thus confirming the Vedic conclusions and historical accounts, what to speak of the prophecies. As a matter of fact, there are entire sciences that, for all practical purposes, have literally been lost down through the ages. Take manipulation of sound vibration, for example, which somewhat recently has barely begun to be revived. In this day and age, some experimentation has been conducted to determine how the different types of music affect people's behaviour during their attendance of concerts, for example, and the way they shop at the grocery stores. There's also the scientific technology of ultrasound practiced in modern medicine. Somewhat recently, scientists discovered a method that enabled them to split the atom, utilising modern technological contrivances, which they use for the construction of devastating devices of destruction. In the first chapter of a book I came across recently called 2000 AD by Charles Norberg, he recalls encountering several acquaintances who had studied the Vedic scripture called the Mahabharata, which provides detailed descriptions of ancient wars, wherein the usages of what are referred to as celestial weapons were adopted. One of these weapons is called the Brahmastra. From these scriptures, we learn that just as modern scientists are now able to split the atom with modern technological devices, the former inhabitants of this planet were able to accomplish this task by the utilization of the formerly well-known science, classified as manipulation of sound vibration. All types of knowledge are taught in the Vedas. By vibrating a mantra, sometimes called an incantation with perfect volume, rhyme, meter and pitch, as learned from spiritual authorities, commonly referred to as preceptors, who were well versed and practiced in this divinely revealed scientific art, the atom and nucleus could be altered to empower primitive weapons, like the arrows used with bows, to produce an impact equivalent to, or even more intense than, a modern nuclear warhead. Clear. Naturally, these acquaintances Charles Norberg referred to in his book all simply wrote these descriptions off as mythology. That was until shortly after the so-called first atomic explosion was detonated in Hiroshima, and thousands of eyewitness accounts were duly recorded. After studying and remembering how similar their descriptions were to those they had formerly read, that were written about a world war, which had been recorded in the Mahabharata, called the Battle of Kuruksetra, that according to this scripture had taken place in a part of what is now known as India 5,000 years ago. Astonished, intrigued and captivated, some of them lead expeditions consisting of archaeologists, historians and scientists to the site where this war was documented to have occurred. There, with appropriate equipment, a construction team dug deep into the dirt to the level that it was scientifically determined dated back to that particular time period in question. There, much to their amazement, they discovered formerly melted rock formations that, according to their carbon dating analysis procedure, had in fact been transformed in that way during that ancient era, and with the assistance of other modern scientific devices, concluded that only some presently unknown type of nuclear device could have possibly caused this to happen. Also, according to these scriptures, this science was so refined that the target of such weapons was the only thing affected by them. This is but one of many currently verified sciences from our ancient past that, for all practical purposes, have been completely lost to us. The parallels today are striking, making the Kalki avatar prophecy feel urgently relevant. Of course, people in the past saw their own crises in its lines. That duality, its timelessness and its timely call to action is what makes it so compelling. If this video taught you something new, show some support with a thumbs up and a subscribe. It really helps the channel grow.